Jenkins, Hereford's assistant manager, after the match against Newport. Looked a really tough game, but one that you'll probably relish in a few weeks' time.
100%. It's what we needed, you know, no disrespect to the teams we've played in the previous 4 games. This is what we needed and what we got, to be fair. It was intense, it was a great speed to the game, and I felt it took us a while to get up to speed, possibly, you know, it took us up to about the second half. You know, come out the second half, we had a bit of a go, whereas first half I felt we were a little bit passive. But that's understandable in terms of where we are in pre-season. I think they've had a couple of games against Bristol City and Swansea in the last week, so they were sort of a little bit sharper, a little bit brighter than us, but I felt second half then we come into the game.
Having said that, Harry White had a good opportunity early doors. That wasn't far off target.
Yeah, we've had some good opportunities throughout the game. But probably, like we talk about, that sharpness and that brightness and that awareness, we're just not at that level yet. But I would expect us to be now with another 2 games and another week of training. I'd expect us to be nice and sharp and nice and bright in and around that box. Whereas today that we had opportunities, but probably didn't capitalise on them. The
game was decided by a penalty kick in the end. What did you make of that? What have the players said?
Oh, the players adamant it weren't a pen. Kieran's adamant he never touched him. The boys chopped back on it. It did look a little bit soft, if I'm honest. But you know, he's given. We can't do nothing about it. I was disappointed as well, you know, to concede in the 43rd minute or whatever it was, because you know, even though we hadn't sort of played on the front foot, we sort of saw the first half out. But you know, it'd be interesting to see the replay back on that one.
It's interesting that Jordan Liebert was man of the match, and I thought Martin Horsell made a couple of great saves too.
I'm trying to think. I can remember the first half save from the header was outstanding. You know, it was a absolutely fantastic save, but he didn't have loads to do. You know, there's a few crosses, you know, flying across the face of our box. But in terms of Horse, you know, he did well. I think he looked back, his kicking wasn't up to his normal standard, but no, he did his job. And like I say, Jordan done well in situation, used his power and pace. But I think we all done okay. I think they all done okay. They all applied themselves in the right way, and it was a good workout and a good 90 minutes for us.
Some of the supporters in front of me were getting a bit irate with what they saw as heavy challenges from Newport. What did you make of that? Is that what you were expecting?
Exactly, it's a game of football. There's no such thing as friendlies anymore, is there? I don't think. No, they, like I say, they were competitive, and they were competitive from the off. And I'm glad that we matched. You know, I'm glad that we sort of matched them physically as well. So, you know, they're a decent outfit. They're strong, and we knew it was going to be a physical test. But you know, we stood up to it, and sometimes, you know, it's nice to see people getting involved, you know, and showing a bit of backbone, and not being intimidated. So, no, that's all part and parcel of the game.
A bit concerning to see Mike Simo coming off at the end. What actually happened?
I don't know. He's got his shot off on the head, so I don't know where the lad's followed through. He's tried to block, he's just caught him. I don't know. He's gone in, and we'll have more idea of that in the next sort of 24 hours, 48 hours. But it's not ideal at all, is it, this time of season? So fingers crossed it's not going to be too bad. Well,
it looked like an ankle to me from distance.
Yeah, it did. It did. So fingers crossed it's just a slight twist and it's not too bad, but like I say, probably take us 48 hours to actually see the full extent of it.
And the other long-term injury, Keon Raphael, what's the latest there?
Yeah, Keon, I think he's got a bit of soft tissue sort of to do with, you know, when he broke his metatarsal end of last season. So again, it's hard to tell in terms of time scale, but fingers crossed he'll have some sort of game time before the end of pre-season, hopefully.
Will there be any changes coming into the game against Forest Green? Are there any moves on the horizon that we're not aware of?
We're always speaking to people, and you know, not at the moment, but you never know. Obviously now there's another 4 or 5 days, a long time in football, isn't it? So you know, if we get 1 or 2 in, it'd be great, because we are sort of a little bit light today. You know, the 2 centre-halves have played another 90 minutes again. It was a hot day, and it was a tough 90 minutes for them, because you know, Newport going forward, they were big, they were physical, they were strong, they were quick. So it was a great test for them, and probably give them 30 minutes more than what we would have liked to, but you know, that's the situation that we're in.
And a great crowd reaction and a great crowd numbers, just over 1,500.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? But nothing surprises you, does it? They turn out and they support us. Newport brought a great crowd as well, and it was a decent afternoon, you know, for pre-season football. It was a good advert, like I say, good crowd. fans behind us, and just a bit disappointed we couldn't got something out of the game.
Thanks for your time.
No probs.